I wonder if my mic, I wonder if I can be heard. Let's see if I can be heard. Just testing to see if I can be heard. Just testing to see if I can be heard. Yes, the mic is working. Yes, the mic is working. Okay. Might as well play my newest tune. Might as well play my newest tune. Oh, I thought I had it on Wi-Fi, but I don't. Oops. Doesn't sound really good really loud like that, but what I can dance really good, but I'm not going to do it while I'm sitting down. Trust me. Music by Octavital, but it sounds better when you listen to my video. Country, rock and roll, make your own music and call it by your own spoils. That didn't rhyme, but it's all good. I don't really do rap online. Nobody plays ballads like that on loops except me. And yes, I write long fucking songs. Not all the time. It sounds like it's ending. Okay, so somebody's in here, but as usual, I don't know who the fuck they are. Once they pop in, I can find out who they are, but till then. That'd be funny as fuck to find out my one and only listener was like somebody like Jeremiah Phillips. Now that would be funny. Funnier than Jeremiah Phillips, actually. A lot funnier. I mean, if Jeremiah Phillips was addicted to me and I have no other people in my stream, then that, yes, that would, well, a little bit scary, actually. That would be scary, not funny. Funny and scary. Scary and funny. Yeah, like sandwich it in between two pieces of funny and then you got scary in the middle. Exactly. But no, it's not going to ever happen. He's a funny guy. What are you going to do? He's a funny kind of guy. He can do funny things. He's allowed to do funny things. So this stream, I was going to start talking about what I was going to talk about. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's all kinds of things, but wherever I can remember at the time, because I don't write things down. I think it was, Harold Bald, I guess a year or two ago. Maybe it was 3 years ago. Maybe, I don't know how long ago. Came to America and got beat up. Okay, Harold Barder. Actually, it's just Bard with an R on the end, so it's one word, his last name. But it's, I guess, pronounced Barder. I don't know. Anyway, came to America. And the thing is, you know, a lot of people misunderstand from Europe and other countries. First of all, we came about almost in no time at all. It's hard to understand the dynamics of Americans. So if you come over here and you think everything's, oh, well, you know, because for years we had it so good and all of you motherfuckers were peeing and shitting on the ground. The only reason why it's better in the world today is because every motherfucker copied us. Okay, but the other thing is this. if you come to America, understand this. If you're from another country, there's a lot of dispute about who to like that comes into our country. A lot of dispute. Like there's people who think it's just free to everyone, like some fucking free merry-go-round. It's not. This is not a free fucking merry-go-round. Okay. So I get pissed when people come here and then just assume that everything will be hunky dory when in fact they're just not street smart. They think they may be, but they're not, you know. And then, of course, it's easy to go to a bunch of third world countries and say, oh, the scariest place I've ever been was America because that's where I got beat up. Well, guess what? You got beat up, bro, because someone took a dislike. Something about your behavior was unfriendly to them. Maybe they thought you were trying to be too friendly. Okay, street savvy. That's number one. In America, if you're not street savvy, you are a punk bitch. You will be treated like somebody in prison. Right away, you'll get beat up, more than likely. Yeah, if you're walking down the street in America, yeah, you can go. Soccer moms walk freely. Well, once you become a dude, and then a dude from another country to tack onto that, then you got a whole different dynamic running because the fuck was that? Fuck is this live stream shit? No thanks. So but people think that, you know, all these years we were just doing nothing but bragging about how America is. Well, we had good reason to. You know, even with all the blacks that we did acquire from a slave trade due to the Muslims, hence, i.e., the Arabs, hence, i.e., maybe even the Persians, okay, those two people started the whole ball rolling for using people as, you know, slaves, if you want to call it that. And we were just at the back end of it. Now, if you go further back during the Druids and stuff like that, I'm sure you're going to find Caucasian slaves all over the place. No one's going to document that, though. See, white people don't really care about white slaves because we have a political agenda here in America to kind of like sideswipe everybody anyway, as far as intellectual knowledge gathering goes. So everybody that's trying to gain knowledge, every time they try to do it, they get sideswiped by the bullshit on YouTube. But the truth of the matter is, if you come from another country and you come to America, you have no clue about how people are raised here. One thing we are is very protective. And if you come from another country and there's one thing detected that seems unsavory or overly friendly, that it could be considered like from another country, that an insult. So if you don't know how to behave when you're in America, that's the reason why Harold Barter got beat up. Because he came here and he probably started talking, who knows, to a skinhead or something. So one of the worst probably picks he could have chosen to begin with. I don't know what happened. I didn't even go look. I just looked like a skinhead, and I watched about a half a second of it. I knew right away the reason why he got beat up. Look, I've walked through any kind of environment, nothing but blacks, ghetto. I've walked in, you know, luckily I had a friend at that time. Luckily I had a friend with me, but we had to walk miles through a ghetto. And but the point is this, you know, we could have been taken down anytime, but the truth of the matter is we're street savvy. We're Americans to begin with, and we're street savvy. But if you come from another country and you think you can be street savvy here, you got another thing coming if you think you know how to jive with us, bro. Because once you come here and you say, I'm from another country and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, immediately you might just irritate the shit out of the person you're talking to. Okay, first of all, it's not really written in stone that you can just walk up and start filming somebody. So right off the bat, you know, you could just set someone off for that. And that goes for anywhere in the world. But the reason why Baldwin Bankrupt and the reason why Harold Barter like to act like America is the most scariest place they ever been, the only reason why they do that is because, in my opinion, one of them's probably an agent, if not both. And they're trying to sway popular interests away from America to other countries. Because why? Because everybody copied us. And they're butthurt over it. Everybody in the industrial world copied America. Okay, there was no corporate buildings during you know, the early Russian empire. There's nothing even close to the way we did things here. And when we did, the first people to jump on the bandwagon were the Asians. They were like, oh, yeah, we got to have that. We got to have this. And none of them had earthquake protection, even though they had tons of shit buildings. None of them were earthquake protection. So we led the world in finer things. So when you see somebody come over here and they think they know how to play it, not even Bald and Bankrupt or Harold Barter can walk through our hoods safely because they don't know exactly what their street savvy word of the day is. And it might be something as simple as, hey, I know I'm from another country, but don't hate on me. Let's do this video, okay? Cool. And then move on. Don't just run up to somebody and start filming them. Are you a skinhead or whatever the fuck he said to that guy? I have no idea. But you just don't do that. And, you don't do that in a lot of places, actually. They're just focal pointing it on America because they want to make it seem like other countries that are, fresh out of communism and stuff, are respected. And I agree, that's good. But don't disrespect us just because you can't handle your fuck ass self in America, Harold Bart. Harold fucking Bart. And I'm sub to him. Harold, you know what? I'll be honest with you, Harold. I could fucking, I don't know if I'd do it these days, but back in the day, I could go into a hood that was so ravaged and so ruined, yet there might be one liquor store in there for a 3-mile sprint, with a vehicle to get past, all the potholes just to get to that fucking liquor store. And you wonder even how the fucking liquor trucks get there to deliver it. What, they got a special road no one knows about because everyone else is having a hell of a time delivering or getting to those motherfucking hood liquor shops back in the day. And not your average Joe would go there. So if you think you're badass, Harold Bard, because you have done this, you've done that, you traveled the world, you're not. You don't really understand the dynamics here, the social dynamics. Neither does Bald and Bankrupt. Both motherfuckers do not. And I think possibly both are agents. So that's enough with that. I got a lot of likes on my music on Music Maker Jam. Yeah, man. If you listen to my music, you'll say, "Oh, well, that's it's too weird. It's this or it's that." And while I'm saying all this, I'm picking my butt and getting ready for pizza because that's your mentality. But if you really understand music, you'll understand I'm good. All right, let's try this one. All right, so that tune wasn't that long. But anyway, it sounds better when you listen to my videos. I do the Music Maker Jam thing, and then sometimes I get off of it for a while and I make up music. What do you want me to do? Sue me. It's true, though. I mean, Operation Midnight. I don't know what she's saying.
1973.
It's true though. It's all fucking true. Oh shit. Yeah, number 9. She finishes, and I cut her off right at number 9, and that's the that was the John Lennon song.
So it's still not safe to return to your home if you did.
John Lennon's song Resurrection 9, but it's the vocals are number 9. I forget what the name of the song is.
Did have to evacuate.
Come on, man! Why does this live stream keep popping up? What? Because my spit comes out and lands on the fucking screen, you know, and pushes it like a button. This one got a lot of likes. On Music Maker Jam, it got a lot of likes. See, you guys, you're not getting it. You're YouTubers. You surf YouTube. Okay? That's for bears. When it gets darker later, I'll have it and it holds my head on. I wouldn't try dancing on a live stream though. That's the problem. It's a delay, so probably not such a good idea. That song's pretty cool too. I make up all kinds of cool fucking songs. What can I tell you? Sometimes I even miss people's comments. Let's try this. This one here got not as many views, but supposedly it did on my other thing. Wanting Beggars. Let's listen to Wanting Beggars. Let's try this song. This is called Chorus of Stephen. Admittedly, I make some weird change offs sometimes, but most of my shit is improvised. So what can I say? I don't really work hard at these loops, except to say that I set up the loop packs, I set up the way I'm going to process the loops, and then when I do them, I improvise. So if you hear music of mine that's not so great, it maybe because I'm using cheap phone loops, and on a fucking phone. And what are you going to do? You're going to do what you can, and sometimes you could probably do more, but they don't come out with enough good loops to process good music all the time. So that's why. So if I had equipment in this room right here behind me, obviously, and if somebody comments, we'll get the equipment, I'd fucking do it probably if they commented. But last time I was going to do shit, nobody really on my other channel. A couple of people commented, "Oh, if you ever do that, you'll be out of money in no time." And people were making stupid comments, so I just said, "Fuck it." It's like you don't know shit, about my account, bitch. So anyway, so I would like to know if you want me to become more professional with the music and just get my shit loaded up in here and make my own studio. And if you do, then you should talk, because then I can make that decision and say, you know what? I don't need to fuck with these phone loops anymore. I can play. I don't even need loops. I can play keyboards. I can play bass if I need to. I play bass on keyboards, though. I play split boards. I play multiple. If I want to, I can use, all kinds of effects, including loops. Our loops are generally in effect anyway. So, like if you make music from loops, a lot of times it's unheard of that you do an improvisation of such unusual qualities like I do, because I do that because I'm not normal. I'm not a normal kind of person. So I'll make a shitty, cheap loop pack sound kind of killer, actually. But then other guys will just make very musical, theoretical sounds, and I'm bored of that. So when I hear somebody make music like that and they say, come to my channel, check my shit out, I go to their channel, check it out, and then I'm totally bored, like off the first 10 notes. And I can see where other people would be like that about my shit. Bored like off the first 10 notes, because they're so used to that conditioned sounding music that everyone wants to kind of listen to, but no one's really sure what sounds good. And most people aren't musicians. So it's kind of weird. Now, back in the early 60s, late 70s, and then on, people started to get a little more innovative into music. And then as time went by, then it became more of a whose dick is bigger kind of thing again. But nobody was really coming through. So I've always been the underdog, avant-garde to the T, and I don't fuck with anything else. If I do something and it is sounding more credible, like a theoretical kind of music that you would pose on a radio station or something, I'll do it, but it'd probably have to be for somebody that I appreciate or think is cool or something like that. And then, yeah, I would probably do it just for that reason. But being an artist, I make my own mind up. Usually when I make music, whatever packs I have at the time that I buy, and then I rebuy the same packs later on. So, how many people do that? I get rid of the packs so I can get rid of memory, and then I rebuy them. And they're betting that you'll do that. You don't want a whole scroll full of your packs all the time anyway, because you'll be sitting there with your packs all day long. You won't even be able to get none done. So I only get about maybe 16 different loop packs. Some of them contain up to 400 different loop constructs in them, but somehow or another, I'm not sure what they meant. What I mean is, I'm not sure if they overdub it or something to call it extra loops or something, but I'm not sure how they do it, but it doesn't really matter. Those loops are not quality compared to the ones I can make with my own sampler, my own devices and stuff like that. So if you ever think, hey man, maybe you should move it up a notch and then I'll come to your channel more often, or I'll come into your live chat or whatever, yeah, I'll do that. But if you don't say anything, I'll just sit here kind of like putting whatever I do on my shit and say whatever I have to say. Don't give a fuck about the left, right, up, down, sideways, slight angle, or in between. Okay, I make my own mind up. That's what a warlock does. He doesn't let other people influence him, because if he did, it'd be like they broke into his fucking bubble. Whether they do it on a phone or away from him, they're breaking into his bubble. So you can't let somebody break into your bubble when you're a warlock. So it'll irritate a warlock 100 million times more than just your average person. So when I do things, I just do it in my own bubble, and that's how I stay a warlock. If I let it come out, I start giving in too much or kiss, what people also may even consider ass kissing, I don't do that. What I will do is I'll be less absurd about it and just provide and not think about any of the consequences, because I'm not trying to go in any direction. I'm just a musician, an artist, if you will. So there, that's that. And I'm a warlock and an engineer. An engineer is a mind contortionist also. A lot of people don't realize that, but to be good at stuff, you also have to be an engineer with your own mind. So even if you smoke a lot of weed and people say, oh, well, did you know weed shrinks your brain? You just look at them and go, my brain works about a fucking million times faster than yours, and you don't smoke weed. What the fuck are you talking about, bitch? So I don't get it when people say shit like this. Like, yeah, it may be true in some kind of like map of your brain over years or something, but there's no way my brain puts up with it. It just builds new shit. My shit builds new shit. It doesn't get worse. It maybe gets smarter, and that's about it. That's why you don't hear many 56-year-olds that talk like I do, because I'm a warlock. You don't hear many people that are 56 talking like I do. Name one motherfucker like me. And no, don't bring up some stupid ass motherfucker from the 60s either, please. Those gurus were fucking overrated and sucked dick. If you want to call them gurus or wizards or whatever, warlocks like me, witches, Dick Van Dykes of social endeavors, I don't know. The Dick Van Dyke of social endeavors, that's what most people are. I mean, all they want to do is sit and be entertained all their entire fucking life. I do too, but it's up here, man. It's fucking up here. It isn't on Google searches and stuff. Yeah, you'll hear me act like a total normal fucking person. In fact, my dog got bit or something and got sick. Did I prevent it as a warlock? No. Why? Because AI systems are in dogs too, and if they see that you're doing stuff with magic and making their dog better, you'll have people. There's AI systems installed in every creature, so any creature that's in any way, shape, or form messed with, other intelligence, no, but they're not allowed to say, oh yeah, well, fix that issue down there. No, but they know where, what, and when, and how. So they know all the answers before you do. So just remember that. Extraterrestrials have that AI system installed in genetics. It's not just something we made up as humans just recently, okay? Been around a long fucking time, man. And the good thing about doing these live streams, if no one pops in, I can talk my ass off. It's okay. I can still fucking talk. And I can make sense. And then they'll watch the video after I'm done, because a lot of people, they have an ego too, and they don't want it smeared by somebody who's superior as me. So I can see why that would be the case. It's kind of like when you go to school, you kind of resent the teacher's pet, a little bit. Maybe a lot of people did, or and your grades would always be less, even though you tried 10 times harder. Well, there you go. It's got similar physics going on there. I'm good at what I do, and I don't have any fucking teacher's pets because they're afraid to talk to me. If you were to think that I was a guru, a teacher, and I am, you wouldn't really feel comfortable listening to me because my ego is outside of itself. It's in a rap, it's outside of itself. It's more than, linear or two-dimensional or three-dimensional. It's exterior dimensionally, inside out. So I can see what's inside quick, evaluate it, and then see what's outside quick because it's on right next to that. So I turn it inside out so I can see everything's going on. That's why when somebody comes by, I can tell if they got a brain tumor. I can tell when somebody's sick right away. My dog, even before my dog got sick, I wasn't paying attention. So, but at the same time, did I need to act as a human being to get my dog better? Yeah, I got him some Benadryl. He got better. But I don't know if he got bit by a small scorpion or what happened. He just started choking while he's laying down. And so, but you can't really use, you can't orient physics for things like pets and dogs and people. You're not allowed to do that in the warlock world. However, if your physical life is threatened, you can. You can when your physical life is threatened. You're not really allowed to go around saving people like Superman and shit like that. That's against the rules. So the only thing you can do is physically get some Benadryl or something like that and go fucking try to get your dog better. And he's better. Yeah. So, yeah, I make up music. This one was made a while ago, but the song's kind of slow. So slow. All right, so here's Brian Leone, and he doesn't have a skateboard. He doesn't have a skateboard. He says he does.
It's like I've been caught butt fucking one of his pets or something, you know? And so I get in the shower. Now, the whole time I'm in it. Now, remember, I've been taking bird baths, so I haven't experienced a shower for a long time. Now, these showers in particular, there's like these, like, they're weird. They're like old, you know, like salon style, you know, where they like swing open. You could really, like, if you were into exposing yourself, this would be the shit. You just like swing the saloon doors open and just like wiggle your dick. But I mean,
the dude thinks he's funny. He's really not, but I guess he's trying. So I'm not going to diss him on that. Maybe other people do think it's funny. One thing I will say about Ryan Leone, some of the shit, you know, first of all, don't say you ride a skateboard and then don't show one goddamn clip of you on a skateboard. Don't ever say you can skateboard when you don't show yourself skateboard, okay? Number one rule.
Not into shit like that because I'm weirdo. And I have good paperwork, so. So I'm showering. The whole time I can't even really enjoy it. It's nice to take a shower after you haven't taken one for so long when you're like used to taking bird baths. But the whole time that I'm showering, I'm thinking like, man, like this cop was not joking with me. It looks suspicious that Chubbs wasn't willing to go take a shower. The cops were getting there, so I can't even enjoy the shower. So I finish, and I end up going back in the cell. And he's like, hey, Chubbs is like, hey, did he say anything? And I'm like, I mean, he said that he thought that you not coming out of the cell meant that we probably had something in there. So fuck. And, you know, he'd been to state prison a bunch of times. So fuck. Someone dropped a dime on us. I'm like, I don't think anyone dropped it. I think it's because we're not showering. It looks weird. I don't know. I haven't showered for like a month. Dude probably thinks, I don't know what he thinks. He's like, he probably thinks we're making alcohol in here like we are. I was like, whoa, we? I said, you're making alcohol, bro. I got a kid to go home to. I'm not getting busted for you making alcohol. So I'm going to give you some, aren't I? I said, well, yeah, but get one thing straight. I'm not making this shit with you. He's like, yeah, I already told you that. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I end up looking at the kite. I don't tell Chubbs about it. I just kind of like, I didn't want to open it until, I was done showering. I didn't even know that I was going to be showering. So I end up opening it, and it's from this guy. Fuck, man. What was his name? I think his name was Grinch, like from The Grinch That Stole Christmas. Yeah, and it was Christmas time, so it's kind of ironic. That wasn't even Grimes. His name was Grimes. There we go. I knew it was something GR. So there's this guy named Grimes, and he was SNY. He wrote me this like long ass letter. It was obvious that he was probably, for sure high on crystal meth. And what he was telling me is that he was part of the 2-5ers. So 2-5ers are a PC gang. Yes, there are PC gangs. They go around snitching on people and sexually offending. There weren't any sex offenders at this place, but 2-5ers are. There's a number of PC gangs. If you watch, there's like locked up shows where you can see them. There's 2-5ers, Northern Riders, Green Lighters, GBG, Gay Boy Gangsters. That's a real thing. I never ran into any of those guys, but I know that if you're like on a straight up SNY yard, there really are GBG guys. I don't know how you get into a gang like that. You feel like it's not like get gangbanged or something, where you're like throwing up their signs or whatever. All right. Sorry, Al Prophet just texted me. I don't know what he's talking about. No, I'll call you back, Al. Get your watching. And basically, what these gangs are is when you go to SNY, when you're PC like that, you've dropped out, right? And the real problem with dropping out isn't going SNY. That's not what the problem is. When you're a dropout, you have to debrief. So you basically have to provide information to the cops about the gang that you're dropping out from. It's like their deal. Well, we'll protect you, but you have to give us information about the gang. So the guys that are dropouts are like not usually trustworthy guys, because really they're 90% of them are snitches. So what happened is they're so used to gangbanging that once they get to the other side, they go to SNY, they do the PC thing, they start forming their own gangs. We've talked about this. They're like interracial hit squads, like the Village People. They perform. Right? They tour the state system.
That's funny.
Performing. Okay, anyway. And so this guy was telling me that he was a 2-5er, this guy Grimes. And what he was saying is that they were trying to get their numbers up because there was this huge, bus full of Southsiders that they knew was coming. So this guy was like a real deal, like super serio PC gang member. And he was saying that he wanted to get their numbers up before this big bus had got there. And he's like, look, we want you to be in our SNY gang. You have color tattoos, and we think you're probably a bitch. No, they knew that I hadn't left the cell for a month. And they're like, look, I know you haven't been coming to chow. I know it can be scary here because nobody knows who's who, but you're already no good. We don't know what your status was before you got here, but you're no good now anyway, so you may as well join the 2-5ers. If you're interested, send us a kite back. You can give it to Chewy.
He gets on rolls, and he's funny sometimes.
What am I gonna do? Get out of prison and tell my homeboys, hey, never guess what I did while I was away this time. What's that, Ryan? I joined a PC gang called the 2-5ers. It's bomb, homeboy. It's bomb.
Okay, all right. He wins. He's funny today.
First of all, I'm 33 at the time. I'm not going to join a fucking gang. That's what I'm not going to do. The whole point of programming, being on a mixed yard, walking the line, not giving a fuck, being celled up with an SNY guy, not leaving my cell, feeling like a straight up broad. so I could get home to my kid. Joining a gang was not even something that was like something I would consider. So I don't even respond. So things keep going as normal, right? Chewy ends up coming up to me maybe like 2 days later, right? I think like one more riot kicked off. The big bus load full of Southsiders that Grimes was telling me about in the Kite it hadn't come yet. Now, Chewy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey man, can I get at you for a second?" He was like the most polite convict I've ever talked to. Hey man, excuse me. Hey, hey, listen, brother. There's a big busload full of actives coming in, and we're all a bit worried about it. We heard about 80 of them were coming in, and well, Grimes he's really wanting you to join the 2-5ers so that they can count on you, and he'll protect you until you go. How does that sound? I was like, Chewy, let me tell you something. I'm not going to do that. And I explained to him why. Chewy was like, I don't know if Grimes is going to like that. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't even know that guy. And I'm not joining the PC gang, dude. I don't even consider myself PC. No, I shouldn't be on this side to begin with. I'm unfairly targeted. So Chewy ends up leaving. So, typical fights going on at Chow, whatever. So I ended up getting another Kite. And it's from Grimes again. So now the first time they were like all nice and everything, and now they're like, all right, if you don't click up with us, then we're just going to consider you part of the active, and we're just going to be on it. We're whacking all actives on site right now. We all have knives. We're on an SMY 3. You think they're giving knives to the GP? All the knives that had gone to the GP on those first riots that we've been in, this is what he's saying in the Kite. He said it in shorter language than this. He said, those are long gone. He said, now we have all the knives. And he's like, you can either click up with us, or we're gonna get you. We're gonna hurt you, dog. You know what I said? I was like, the fuck? I don't even know what this guy looked like. Grimes. When he said that, I thought I was thinking it was like an EDM artist or something. So I ended up writing my Kite back, and I was like, okay. Let's just say hypothetically, I was going to click up with you guys. What do I need to do?
He's really funny.
It's just me saying that I'm a 2-5er with you, so I don't get fucking stabbed by you weirdos. See, that's the weirdest thing about these mixed yards. All the rules, all the conditioning for me doing time from being in the Fed, from all the county jail time I've done, everything I'd ever learned was completely ass backwards now. Basically, they were trying to threaten me into joining a gang.
Of course.
Absurd,
That's not unusual.
What neighborhood you from, dog? I'm from the Riviera of Santa Barbara. It's not a neighborhood that's like picturesque postcard place. And it kind of, it would make me sad to think that in a different life I came from that. And now I'm in this situation where a guy named Grimes is threatening to stab me if I don't join his PC fucking club or whatever. So I said to him, I'm like, okay, well, what do I have to do? I get a Kite back, and he's telling me that I have to whack, meaning I have to stab one of the actives that comes in off the bus.
Shit.
He's telling me if I don't do that they're going to get me. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is exactly what the fuck I don't want to be part of. What's the point of even being on a mixed yard if you have to still do this crazy ass political shit? So now at this point I tell Chubbs about it. I'm like, hey man, this is what's going on. He's like, no brainer, my friend. Join the 2-5ers. Duh. I heard they're giving free tattoos too if you join right now. I was like, oh, cool. Sign-on bonus, dude. My PC gang tattoo.
Oh my god.
That's gonna go cool. It's gonna go over great when I'm running around LA. When I'm in the beaches of LA and I run into some Southsider, that 2-5er fucking on my neck. I'm good on that. He's like, well, I've been one for weeks, bro. I'm like, oh my god, this is my nightmare, right? He's like, you're going to have to do it. He's like, I already have one. Well, you already have one what? I already have a knife. I'm like, dude, let me get this straight. You're cooking alcohol in our cell. That could get me 6 months. Now you have a fucking shank in here. That could give me another year. Is there anything else that you have? He's like, I have a dead pice under the bunk. I'm like, oh, okay, no, he didn't say that. But he had a knife and he was cooking alcohol. And now I'm like really starting to have an anxiety attack. Because now we're getting from like kind of like minor infractions to like I could catch a shoe term. I could do another year and a half easily, if not more. And now they're telling me they want me to stab somebody. That night. And by the way, so I tell Chubbs, I'm like, okay. You really think I should do that? He's like, honestly, he's like, we're about to go at war. They're going to target you. They already know who you are. They're going to target you. And I was like, well, if I can't leave the cell, what difference does it make? He's like, well, I'm leaving the cell. And if you're not with us, you're against us. All right. So anyway,
this shit just gets too funny. Unfortunately, it's a bad deal, but
he shows me his knife. This is funny. You know, it's fairly big. It's about that big, metal, right? So if our cell gets hit, they have metal detectors, we're fucked. They're going to find it. It's in his mattress. So that night, a bus comes. A bus of all active GPs or whatever. And supposedly we're going to war, not at breakfast the next day. Of course, at breakfast, something's going to pop up. But like the real crazy shit's supposed to happen the next night at dinner. So I'm like, you know, Chubbs and I both have like our faces against the glass. We're watching all the different inmates get off walk from the entrance, the unit with their, with their bedrolls. They're getting like the rundown from the lieutenant or whatever. And we're watching all of them go to their respective cells. I couldn't believe who I saw. Not the guy that I kicked in the face, but I see one of the dudes that had jumped me at Santa Barbara County Jail. One of the guys that was there that night that actually put hands on me when I got my ribs broken, when I got jacked for the heroin when I was at Santa Barbara County Jail. And I saw him. He didn't see me, but I'm looking at him. And I knew that it was him for sure because of a tattoo that he had. It was like a bear claw. It was like right here. As unmistakably him. When I had seen him last time, he had hair. Now he had a shaved head. Of course, now he's in prison. He's all super fucking serio. As a Peckerwood, right? And he's squinting. He looks all hard. And I'm looking at him and I'm telling Chubbs, I'm like, hey, that guy jumped me when I was in county jail. And he's like, perfect. You have someone to stab. I was like, so now I have to risk seriously catching another 25 years, if not more, for killing him. Or maybe 10 years for stabbing him, or getting stabbed by my own cellie, because now he's telling me that it's a 2-5, and if I don't do it, they're going to turn on me. I basically have to choose between stabbing this guy that had jumped me while I was at Santa Barbara County Jail, being stabbed, and risking doing more time in fucking prison. It's a wonderful place to be, and it's also a wonderful place to stop. We'll get into what happens next in the next installment of this story. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out patreon.com/Ryan Leone.
Okay, so I will say this. For some of the times I've watched his thing, some of his jokes are stale, but, he's kind of he's humorous in general. It's pretty funny. He says some, prison stories can be interesting. When you run out of them, they're not. But for the meantime, he's got them. Ryan Leone. I give him a like. I'm like 279. Okay. All right. And he'll probably post pretty soon. Funny guy. Now, as far as chicks go on YouTube, I'm not really into. I don't know any. I don't go running around on YouTube looking for like chicks with YouTube channels, but some other people do. McHenry Cruiser is one of them. I don't think he'll ever have luck going after chicks on YouTube, but whatever. If you think so. I mean, he keeps pumping up Miss Wonderful, and for what? The two are doing themselves possibly a disservice just talking to each other. But anyway, that's just what's up with him. I don't think he gets it. I guess as far as schizophrenia goes, that would be probably one of the worst perks of schizophrenia, if you want to call it a perk, is that you cannot understand the dynamics of the social interactions that are before you, McHenry Cruiser, so that when you're trying to pump up somebody that's, by the way, got a shitload of dislikes. I just went and looked. I've never gone to her channel, Miss Wonderful, and she's got a lot of dislikes. I was like, damn, man. And then I think I watched a little bit, and I was like, well, she seems all right, but I mean, I don't know why she's getting all the dislikes, so I'm not into it enough, so I'm not going to get into it enough. But in the meantime, yeah, this is what he's talking about, this shit. So we'll see.
When the rector was taken to the school hall, all right. They don't watch Love After Lockup? No, because I don't have regular TV. Except for on my phone, but I really don't want to watch TV on my phone.
Trying to find chat.
So I haven't watched it yet. I'll look for it on. I have DirecTV app on my phone. My parents paid for it, so I'll look for it. I forgot about it, but I will look for it. Unless it's on, I'm sure it's not on Netflix or anything, right? It's on regular TV. Good point, Cruiser. Clark Kent wore huge glasses, and look how many people admired him and how handsome he was. He was a stellar beast who took no crap. That's right. That is right. Whew. Yeah.
I got a good crush.
Don't want that.
Hate to admit it, but
Clark Kent wore huge glasses, and look how many people admired him and how handsome he was. He was a stellar beast who took no crap. That's right. That is right. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, my friend. Dude, I get girls' numbers that are 2 to 3 years older than me often. Well, why do you got to prove it to Slasher then? Why do you got to prove it to him? Why do you have to tell him? Why do you have to force this information into his noggin? I mean, if you know you're getting these girls, why do you need validation from him or anybody else? Did the erotic massage parlors open by you yet? Yeah. They're open, my friend. They're open. What's up, quirky girl? How's it going? How's it going? Glad you could be here. Yeah. Your bull cell? I see. Whew. Ron Jeremy wore no glasses, was a beast, and he was paid to get laid. Shudders. Ew. That is true as well. That is, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make me any less handsome of a beast, says Fletcher. Damn. All right. You like Headwork? Where's Headwork been? He's been missing in action.
See, this guy doesn't have a clue. He locks himself inside all day and then calls himself schizophrenic, but he locks himself indoors all day. That's what you call paranoid, not schizophrenic. Maybe they paranoid schizophrenic. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, how'd Ron Jeremy get into the porno business? How'd he do it?
Well, that's enough for this guy. He's a fucking goofball.
Why?
I mean, I haven't listened to him for a while. I was trying to ingratiate him. He's schizophrenic. What else are you going to do? Somebody's schizophrenic. You got to try to be nice to him to begin with. But he's just such a loner. I don't even want to talk. And some of the things he says is just stupid. So I watch him once in a while just to see what he's saying about other people. But he says he's sick of the drama. But before that, when he was talking to the other woman that will never in a million years fucking walk up to his doorstep, the other woman, whatever her name was, the brunette, she won't. I don't even know what her name was, but I don't know what his point is. His point is, just keep getting these girls' attention. There's no way they'll date them. They'll get their attention, but you'll never be able to date those chicks. So his issue is he thinks that somehow because they're on YouTube is the way to go for getting hooked up. It isn't. I mean, even Black Bigot's making fun of that stuff. I mean, look at Black Bigot right now. He's looking at women that probably may socially talk to him, but they're not going to fucking do anything with them. And if they do, it will be a viral video. If Black Bigot gets laid by one of those broads that he would like to get laid by, he will actually have a viral video at that point because he doesn't got nothing going on right now. So not that I do, but ouch, fuck, man. Once in a while, when you light a bowl of marijuana, the spark will pop out like a cigarette and land right on your skin. And sometimes it'll hurt, sometimes it doesn't. This time it fucking hurt. That fucking hurt. It just drilled right into my fucking, when it went in, it just stuck. It just went. I'm still red hot, by the way. I looked over at it and it was like sizzle, sizzle, and I was like, fuck. So yeah, McHenry Cruiser is just lame. He doesn't want to go outside, do anything, and that's lame. That's not. You can call it paranoid, schizophrenic, whatever. He's just lame. He makes excuses and takes tons of heavy medicine. And if he takes Seroquel, he'll probably fucking end up, flipping out from the Seroquel as well. Whatever medicines they give him, he's just going to end up being more and more enclosed indoors. He's probably not going to know how to ever again be homeless in Hollywood because he's lost that talent for sure. Being outdoors, he can't even do it. So, and when he does go outdoors, he says he can't handle it in a store or anything else. So he's agoraphobia along with it. So, agoraphobia, whatever it's called. If you can't be around people, then how the hell were you homeless? Around people all day long, dude. So it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, so what I was talking about before, I think I got that well encapsulated in logic and fair trade of comments because I think what I said about Bald and Bankrupt and Harold Barter was right on cue. Those guys think they're more internationally capable of walking around any third world country and then go to some that are better outside of America and then just claim America sucks dick. That's all they want to do. To me, that is a foreign agent. Anyone that says America sucks dick more or less without saying it, but kind of like hinting at it, that is basically an agent. Those are people trying to spread, dislike towards Americans. So I'm probably going to have to unsubscribe from Harold Barter and Bald and Bankrupt because I do not feel like they're sincere about, and I don't even trust who they are, actually. Especially even if you look at Bald and Bankrupt, he actually does seem like he is doing stuff on YouTube that would be a little bit spy-like because he's going to other countries and not really picking any tourist destinations. And it is actually a little bit like spy-like stuff. So it's almost like he's a YouTuber that is undercover spying around Russia and other provinces of different places, but always picking the rural, most unlikely place to pick for a tourist destination because that's how spies do things. They don't want to stand out. They don't mind standing out little as long as they do their job, but they don't want to look like they're trying to infiltrate a lot of intelligence. So they go where there's not a lot of shit. and see what they can see from there. So, I'm kind of thinking that Baldwin Bankrupt is probably, a double, agent, possibly paid off by Russia just to kind of like, downplay America. When he mentioned America on his recent video, he basically said, "Oh, the scariest place I ever been was Kentucky," and it made me cringe because I'm like, you know what, I have stand a chance of getting beat up around America. It's not that hard to get beat up here. It's just that if you don't know how to be street savvy, then you're definitely going to get beat up. So that's why Harold Bardr, Bardr, that's his last name, got beat up a year or 2, 3 ago when he came to America because he doesn't know how to socially interact here. He's from fucking Norway. And, people from Norway, Holland, whatever, they don't get it. They don't get the dynamics over here. So they as well. So it's possible he's not an agent, but he doesn't understand how to socially interact with people that are as diverse and strangely new country like America. We're a new country. It's hard to understand the dynamics that are going on when you come over here. You don't exactly know what kind of neighborhood, what kind of people are around there. If he was in Kentucky, probably he was in an area where there was lots of skinheads. I don't know. Harold Bardr, he just wasn't paying attention to where his surroundings or what or who not to talk to. Okay, right on, bro. I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Yeah, I believe it. And thanks for coming in. I can't pronounce your name, but I believe it. And a lot of these guys that are from out of the country, the first chance they get, they'll knock America. Look at the guy who was helping, ran out on a rail, one word, ran out on a rail, one word on YouTube. If you go to that, he does a Mexico trip with this guy, and I guess he's got like maybe 3,000 subscribers, but the main channel has 50 plus thousand subscribers. But the dude was more or less trying to help people, and he still is, to get across our border safely. And I'm not about that. So I'm not about helping people that really aren't even they're not legally supposed to be here. So there's no argument there for me. It's like, yeah, first thing to do, keep them back, keep them back, keep them back. I mean, just like the movie 300, keep them back. That's about as simple as that. And so when Harold Bardr and Baldwin Bankrupt started talking shit, then I know for a fact that there's something that, it's either down deep, they just are sick of all the bragging America has done in the past about how good our country is, because guess what? Everybody copies us. So yeah, if you come here, you're dealing with lots of, money interchanges. Some people are poor. Some people we got a strangely diverse population. I mean, it's not like Europe where you just either got skinheads or a communist or a socialist. No, over here, you got a strange mix. You got to know how to deal with that. If you don't socially know how to interact with people properly, first thing Harold Bardr should have done, fucking done was just whenever he went into a place in America, the first thing he should have done, first of all, did a little more research, okay? Because, going to Kentucky, probably the worst choice he could have made, not knowing exactly what kind of people you're dealing with there. It's that simple. I mean, even me, I'd be precautious going to Kentucky, even though it's more or less mellow. There's rednecks all over the place. I mean, I'm from St. Louis, and outside of St. Louis, it's rednecks everywhere. Yeah, rednecks are cool, though, too. They just don't like outsiders, like I don't like outsiders. So, I mean, it's not that they're all irritating, but some rednecks, they like to fight. And last thing you want to do is run into something that's running around where rednecks are that's also a skinhead on top of it. Because likely you ain't going to survive, especially if you're showing off equipment or something, bragging about something, and you're from Europe. Bro, you'll get beat up. No time at all. You don't have to be a skinhead. You just have to irritate somebody over here, and it's it can be it can be quick and decisive. And I'm not good at defense, but I that good at defense. I mean, I probably try to. I'm good at seeing trouble coming before it comes, and I usually stay away that way. Other people, they just don't see it coming. And a lot of Europeans are like that. They come here, they don't see it coming. They can't even predict there's danger in front of them if they saw it, because they don't know enough about here. Now, the one things they do know is the colleges, the things we do have over here. They've done some research. Maybe they know a little bit about that because maybe they wanted to get educated at one time here. Because, you know, at one time we had some outstanding colleges and shit. And unfortunately, all of that has gone into the wolves because a lot of these professors are just liberal and they have an agenda. And they don't get funded a lot of times because the people giving the funding are liberals sometimes. And, you know, or just have their agenda to make sure that there's that side of us, of America, that has that weak deficiency, which is, you know, the need to have everything paid for on a fucking silver platter. You know, the more they want to push that, the more or less education you're going to get. That's good education. You're going to get more or less whatever they can dig up funding for, which probably means nothing you're interested in. So that's the one thing about, you know, education over here. But, you know, it wasn't always America. I mean, you know, sure, England has some good universities. You know, other countries have good universities. But nowadays, everyone wants to just brag about every country but America for one reason. And that's because, guess what? We got it, the fucking ball rolling. And now you're not bored of us. You're just insulted. Because guess what? We came over here, we made shit and set up camp really fucking quick and had a country in no time, and quickest in history of any country this large ever. Almost by proxy, it almost looks impossible that we're sitting here today with the shit we do have. Our Air Force is the biggest in the fucking world. So when people say, yeah, but you don't have the best infrastructure anymore, look at Detroit, blah, blah, blah. Hey, bitch, try to start some fucking UFO wars and see who's going to be the first ones running around up there. It ain't gonna be fucking too many others. You know, we're the fucking ones that are on top of shit that's covert as fuck. And so, like, we're not trying to overdo it with making it look like you know, this is heaven with everyone has a mansion. This isn't, and it's all socialist or something. I don't know. I would be bored to have a mansion and not anything to do, just for the hobby. That would suck. But yeah, you know, I mean, this isn't about. It's yeah, you can get rich here. But rich people are unhappy. And look at Bill Gates. He probably started this goddamn virus at some point and probably owns the patent some way indirectly and is trying to institute this AI system, which is Bill Gates kind of territory. So, I mean, you know, this is an AI system that we're trying to infiltrate to the public by using the proxy of a virus. That's the part that gets on my nerves. And I even told the National Guard from 200 feet away, I said, man, hey, guess what, man? If you guys try to demand me to get inoculations, then we'll have problems. As long as you're doing it for free and people are walking up, getting not inoculations, but tested. I apologize. But just don't come up to me and demand me to get tested for a virus or inoculated, because then we'll have problems. You know, I was talking to the National Guard from 200 feet away because I didn't even want to get close to them because they're kind of creeping me out a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. Look, we got globalist type leaders that run different countries. Eventually, that doesn't kick in right away. But like when America got going, all these, you know, cabals from other countries got together and said, look, we got to run them bitches or we're going to have problems. So that's what's been going ever since. Somebody's been trying to tool America. And whenever somebody talks shit about America in the YouTube and the platform, you know for a fact, more than likely, they're just being paid to say that. Look at Baldwin Bankrupt so far to date. He hasn't even said one thing about his virus other than he had it. So he doesn't even want to discuss it. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's his prerogative. He's not entitled. He doesn't have an entitlement to us. But nonetheless, it's highly suspicious. It's almost like, oh, yeah, by the way, Baldwin Bankrupt, if you don't talk about what happened and the virus really, you didn't get it, we all know that, but just don't talk about it, and it'll stay our little secret. Here's a couple $100,000. And keep your lips shut. And I think that's exactly me. Now, if he starts talking about the virus, I will be extremely, extremely surprised. All right? Very surprised. So I think other people have gag orders to talk about it because what happened may not been a virus on him. He may have just got sick. He went to the radiation zones in Russia, and once in a while somebody's going to catch something. That's just the bottom line. I mean, I've seen Shai That's SHIE. Why do, the Russian radioactive Chernobyl, all that whole 9 yards. But you know what? Eventually you're going to pick something up, like a real plutonium molecule, just going over there thinking everything's willy-nilly. It's going to happen. So I don't know, not necessarily plutonium, but maybe he just got sick or something, and somebody said, look, we need to make it seem like you got the virus because not enough people are seeing the hospitals full or anything. So we need some people on YouTube to kind of brainwash people a little further. Here's 200,000. Gag order. There you go. Sign there. Thanks, buddy. Have a good day. That's what's up. Because anyone that's talking about it, they're all theory based. The people are talking about the virus. Some of them aren't, but whatever they say is kind of bullshit because I can already see there's a herd immunity going on and people are just not sick. I don't see anyone sick around here. No one's getting sick. Okay. So I don't get it. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know what to say. I mean, I can only speculate as far as I feel like this is unattached to the money-making schemes in play, though. The main reason why they're using the social distancing has something to do with something other than, but people in between, are told, well, while we're doing this, you can sit there and make money off the whole circumstance by doing this, that, and the other, while we do this. And that's what I think is going on. There's two separate things going on here. There's the ones that want to install the AI into us using Bill Gates' virus. And then, at that point, they'll have a little more control over you and maybe even be able to shut you off if you have a stack of weapons in your house and they don't consider you sane or something. Who knows what they could do with that kind of super duper technology. So our last thing I want is somebody trying to force any goddamn inoculation on me. Fuck that. I'll have new mulch in the front of my yard. That's for sure. It might stink for about 4 weeks, probably more like 4 months, but eventually it'll become mulch. I'd like to know what they were saying about your state. If I could pronounce your name, which I cannot. Well, yeah, but look, man, there's a lot of people making money off this scheme circumstances where they're just tooling the circumstance to make money. Some know how to do it and they have the inside information, some don't, most don't. And either way, somebody's going to be filling their pockets. But in the meantime, something else is going on here that I don't think really even has anything to do with fucking virus. The virus was an excuse to employ measures, and that was it. They knew it wouldn't be fatal except to older folks. And then, of course, with that, what you got is you got people now with trust funds that wouldn't have had them quite as early. And so now you got people spending money because their older mother died and whatnot. Now they got their own money. You got to remember that just because an older person with a bad immune system died, they got wells and shit set up for people. So that opens up a whole new field of people that have money, but at the same and because the old people are out of money, a lot of them. They're kind of like just living off their whatever Social Security income. So. They're not out of money, but they had the trust set up for the children or whoever. So when they died, all that went transferred. And so that, but that's not why this is happening. Something else is going on here. This is more of a contingence outside of our knowledge. For some reason, they don't want people making social relationships. And that's not good. When you see shit like that, you got something else uptick in there. It's really not a pandemic. That's just an excuse. Although they will employ measures using the pandemic, a so-called pandemic, as the measures to give you the AI inoculation. And that's what it is. Now, in the old days, they used to do stuff. Look, I've been tested in the hospital. I'll just come out and tell you, I don't know where you're from. Can't even pronounce your name in chat. But when I was like 9, I had a really bad ulcer for years. Like when I was young, 8 to 13 years old. And it was really bad. And it hurt all the time. I drank milk fucking left and right. Parents really never did anything except told me to drink milk. So one day I had to go to the hospital. I rushed to the hospital. They said, okay, we're going to put him in observation for the night and just make sure he's okay. She left. And when she left, as soon as my mom left, they rolled me into a room. As soon as she left and drove out their fucking parking lot, they rolled me into a room. And in that room, I don't know where it was, but they already were putting the gas on my face. And I was trying to say, hey, man, where are you going with me, dude? I was trying to ask him, where am I going? What's going on? Because that's what you do when you're in the hospital, and because my stomach was a little better from whatever medication they gave me, a lot better actually. But when I started to fall asleep, I started getting concerned because they didn't explain shit. I was awake when they came in the room. Maybe I was, I don't think they had an IV with me or anything. So, but then they did. Then they were fucking starting to put an IV on me while they were rolling me, I think. But I went in there and they basically said the next day, because I woke up at 3 a.m. and I don't know what happened. And the next day, my mom said, what happened? They said, well, we brought him in and like we said, we put him under observation all night. But I was poking out of my room when he was talking to my mom. I heard it. And I said, no, you didn't. He looked over kind of concerned. I said, no, you didn't. You didn't fucking just have me in that room in observation all night long. No, you fucking rolled me in a room, put me to sleep. And he goes, no, he was on, he was sedated. That's what the guy did to my mom. And she's like, oh, but you could tell my mom was like almost, she didn't even, I don't know. She just gave up and said, okay. But I was trying to explain to her, what happened. And I was like, man, do you even get it? What I'm telling you? I mean, they basically lied to you. They did a procedure on me. Anyway, for 4 years after that, on and off, every 2 weeks to a week, I would bleed pus and blood out of my belly button. It wouldn't heal. My parents didn't even bring me back to the hospital. I don't know if they were afraid to or what, but they just, it was almost like I was on the rag from my belly button. But it was really an infection of some kind. And I was trying to tell my parents, hey, this is an infection. They did something when I was in there, and now my belly button is bleeding pus and blood. Anyway, so there you go. It's just, they do research on people in America, just like in any other country. If they have the opportunity, the science know-how, will, and initiative. And when they do, and they usually have money, like in America, to do that stuff, they'll do covert research. And the military's already admitted they've had colleges and hospitals infiltrated for years. Go look it up. It's already documented that the military has had secret goings on with hospitals and fucking prisoners, as well as, poor populations. And they've done all kinds of research on us. Some of it's airborne. Some of it's when you go into a hospital. It just depends on how they feel like they want to do whatever it is they are going to do. And you might as well forget about Mengele, because Mengele was nothing compared to what our country does to people. Yeah, it's still the best country, but you got run risks of whatever it is they're doing and whoever they're complying with. To some degree, it may be a worldwide national cabal that is calling shots now for countries. And that could be a scary thing, especially if that worldwide cabal has what you might refer to as technological connections outside of maybe this planet. So you just have to be really prepared. The reasons why their social distancing could be almost like herd population control. Think about it. Just like, when you have too many cows in one area, you have to kind of like break it up and put them in smaller pastures or whatnot. And the social distancing kind of reminds me, and also if there's sicknesses involved, you have to keep them separated to some degree. So you don't know exactly if it's a medical thing from, us or something else. But at the same time, when you saw the Four Corners disease, which was a lot of people dying from I think it was a immune system influenza kind of disease where you just fucking die, bleed out every orifice. Well, that mysteriously went away. You have people saying, well, people still get it. Well, I guess what? It ain't in the news, baby. And if it is, it's bullshit. Okay. If that fucking Four Corners disease was still actually active from mice droppings, then why don't I see any evidence of it anywhere on the fucking internet? People will say, oh, well, it still happens. It's just, it really got out of control when the population of the mice boomed in the Four Corners area. But in reality, no one knows exactly if that was an attack or not. So I suspect it was more likely an attack and that we somehow used our own stuff to spray to kill it. But it was by design probably to go into the mouse population, maybe. But also as a biological test or from our own government, because they have a provision that says they can do that. In our own government, we're allowed to spray our own people. Look, I love America, but that's just how it is. In our own country, we're allowed to spray people with any number of chemicals. Nobody has to come out and be named. No politician needs to be named. It's in the provision. So you're living here enjoying your white picket fence and beers and your TV and your cable or whatever it is you got, satellite TV, fucking Netflix, whatever it is you do. And at the same time, you're not just passive. You're not understanding the features of what's going on outside. But it's okay. You'll eventually figure it out. I mean, it won't take too long where you have to get up off your ass, maybe even have to do some treading without a vehicle, because at some point they're going to be able to shut off vehicles with satellites. So, I mean, they may be able to shut off everyone's vehicle. I mean, if they want to. So it's not paranoia. It's just common sense. AI is going to also be in cars. It's going to be attached to satellites. It's going to fucking be able to be interactive with, biological people and computers and systems. And eventually, that's the plan, is to try to cyberdize the human population so that they can, under cover of dark, more or less, is just a terminology, be able to fuck with you. Who knows? Maybe while you're even sleeping. So, I mean, there you go. It's not a joke. It's for real. And so when they try to inoculate you in Sweden, let's see how many of these guys will just give in to that. Now, I don't mind having no money and just credit. That's something I don't agree with people about. Money is no big deal. You switch it to credit. No big deal. And if it has to be injected in, I might disagree with that. Like, my credit is on inside my finger and I just touch something, or inside my hand, I just touch. But at that point, who knows what criminals would do? They'd probably try to cut your hand off to see if they could use it. But the point is, I don't really care, about money disappearing like a lot of people. But the point is, even when there is a situation where National Guard is trying to basically tell everyone to stay indoors, if it gets really bad to where it's almost like, why are they out here? And you're wondering, just don't let them into your town. If you got a small town, don't let them into your town, because they're going to, follow orders. And unfortunately, given inoculations, doesn't seem like anything a Nazi would do, but it is. Okay, so there you go. And it's really the control. I mean, even the Nazis, if they had an AI, they would have implanted it in everyone. They probably would have shut off a bunch of humans that they didn't want, and keep the ones, the living, that they did want. So there you go. And look, I don't care what anyone says. I am a thorough believer there's multiplex of different life forms outside of our knowledge. And, they're running some affairs. They have some duties, and some of them are human and are more like babysitters to us because they kind of have the emotional connections that they could relate to. For the extraterrestrials, and just tell the human or see what they're doing, make sure everything's running kind of like a garden, so to speak. And so nothing gets too disturbed down there, and we'll be over here. And that's what I think they do. They do their thing, and then they tell the higher humans, keep an eye on these guys because, you know what I mean? So that's what I think's up. And they're like Nordic looking. They're probably an original subspecies of some, they say a lot of stuff in academics, but you do not know exactly what's going on. So it's all manipulation. It's all how they presented it. It's a terraform planet. You're going to think I'm crazy. People leave chat, but it's far, leave my live stream. But to me, this is just a terraform planet. It's being monitored, and it's they want you to think all kinds of shit been going on forever. But the truth is, no, it's terraform. They had to trick us a little. It's like a cow on a fence. Eventually, the cow didn't even realize it's trapped. Okay, eventually, that's a domesticated cow, and as long as they can get you like that you don't have any outside thinking capability. You'll just watch Monday Night Football, drink your beer, have your wife paint the fence because she used to paint houses, and everything's fucking hunky dory to you. It doesn't really matter, but to me it does, and that's fine. I don't care if it's hunky dory for you to be like that. I get concerned about large pictures and scenarios. Some people don't believe the things I'm interested in. Sometimes they think I'm just the crazy one. But no, I think I've been abducted a couple times. I don't know exactly how to, talk about it because there's nothing that I remember except a couple times where I don't know exactly what took place. I wasn't sure exactly, but I do know some things visually were in my mind. After it happened, I was like, well, if the memory's still there, it was either a dream or it was for real because it was beyond surreal. I was literally told not to touch the walls. The guy was like, stay in the middle of the fucking hallway. But he wasn't talking directly to me. He was like, and I don't know what the fucking deal was, but when I had that dream, I felt like I was in somebody else's artificial situation. I couldn't relate it to a dream, but when I did pop out of bed, I was like, well, it had to have been a dream, but for years later, I was like, no, I don't think that was a dream. That was a direct memory of some kind. And that was interesting. I was basically, if you want me to just quick synopsis, is basically a huge hallway, and there were UFOs for every room attached to the hallway. So I guess it was a mothership. The UFOs acted like rooms once they were parked, docked, or whatever you want to call it. They were turned into the rooms. So there wasn't rooms in there, I don't think. It was all UFOs. They were the rooms. So somehow or another, these UFOs are interactive with the main spacecraft somehow or another. I think they have to run them like that for some reason. Because they don't build rooms like we do. Because they're advanced. Those UFOs are the fucking rooms. And you got to know that some UFOs are bigger than others, so some of the rooms are going to be ginormous, depending on what kind of mothership or vehicles you're talking about. I believe that, stuff like motherships and stuff like that are really not allowed in our atmosphere, but once in a while there's a skirmish, and they may appear, here in our atmosphere and even do some fighting if need be, because those extraterrestrials don't have a complete cap on the visitors that come and go. They're only able to control about 85% of the interactions taking place here. But wow, that bird looked cool. But there's a good portion that 25% that or whatever. I mean, it's 75%, and that is watched over, but there's a certain amount that are higher tech that come and go here that can bypass the security protocols that the other extraterrestrials have. So when they come here, they're dangerous because they don't have the same rules. They don't follow the fucking same rules. So those can be dangerous, and that might be why some of the fights in the back history had taken place in the sky in front of Persians and other people, Caucasians and whatnot, because they, their fights also bleed over here too. So that's what I think. I think they have more fights and more wars than you would even guess, but they try to keep this place on the low side of that because we're kind of like not that known. This universe is kind of like gets a lot of traffic only from the sheer numbers of dimensional creatures that come and go here. And they have to transmutate, and or they are supposed to have beings to work for them, like humans and other kinds of beings that are disposable, like us. We have flesh because they don't want stuff that's super expensive that's going to, have to take a little too much of their resources, so they just farm it. And, and matter of fact, some of the creatures that I believe the extraterrestrials have, they don't have the same issues with mutations in the genetics because we do. We're like third and fourth class genetics here, but we are important enough to populate as much as possible. And even though we're only third and fourth genetics, and that includes everyone down here, they have to somehow let me gather my thought. Hold on. Oh, that's why we're here, because we're getting what do you call it? We're getting hit by solar rays from time to time, so it's not exactly the best place for us to even populate. Because even though we got an atmosphere and we got some protection from a lot of magnetic protection from the solar rays and whatnot, it doesn't exactly do the job that great if you look at the overall picture. So a lot of us have mutations in our genetics and stuff. So this isn't exactly the best place to raise and farm, but it's good enough to yield a crop of humans. So that's what they do. And then they have extra humans now over here that they can use. If need be, they can come here and steal embryos and whatnot and come and go and have extra humans for their own shit and hybridizations and whatnot. But they're really, a lot of them really aren't that interested in our profile because of our third and fourth genetics. We're hand-me-down genetics, and they have way better shit where they're from. Now, do they farm that shit on a planet like this? No, because then it would interfere. The sun rays would interfere with the genetics. So they don't do that. Those beings are prized. They're like the best caviar on the planet. They don't fucking, that shit's prized, man. But it's not on the planet. Now, they do have workers that are on the planet, but they don't allow that genetic kind to walk around amongst us, because if we were to get put in a lab of any kind, all bets are off. They'd know right away, oh, yeah, this guy's amped up somehow. Yeah, he looks totally human, but if you look here, and so they're not allowed to bring them down here for any. So what they do is they kind of like if you were to make a mini bike go faster and taking the governor, and changing the governor on it or whatever they do to make a mini bike go faster. They can come here and fuck with us and make us super smart, almost as smart as those humans up there. But and in some cases they can make them smart or smarter, but we're just not long living. We don't have the same shit those humans do. They got actually, synthetic inbred genetics so that they can handle space travel and shit like that. But they look just like us. They just maybe they look a little more this or a little more that. They know how to intermix synthetics into genetics, and that's why we have an AI system in our genetics, because it's supposed to look biological so that we don't. And if there were the right people out there, we'd already have figured out that we're not just electric; we're full-out robots. But they just want you to think on that level. Just plasma, blood, splat, water balloon, weak. But the truth is, we're extremely, extremely high-functioning robots, but we're third and fourth class. Kind of like when the Star Wars and the robots were all in the first Star Wars, and they got caught up in that sand machine, and they were in there with all the different robots, that were obviously old. Similar thing. That's what we are here. It's kind of like the same thing as a place where you go pick parts up for your car. They use us like that too, like a junkyard. So, and some of us are specially farmed so that when they do retrieve back this way and they're looking for that, hey, that individual, we can't let him die. So keep his heart healthier, install this. And if we're, just make sure that when we come back, he's going to be fucking ready to go. And, so when you get disappearances, sometimes, people don't just always disappear. Maybe they actually are somebody else, somewhere else. Like the guy who disappeared, flying a plane in Australia when a UFO came in Valente. And the UFO came and basically abducted him forever. But how do we know he's not fine wherever he is now? Maybe they even fixed him and made him part synthetic cyber. See, that's the thing that we're trying to do what the extraterrestrials do. We're trying to tap into the cyber robot of the human. And that's the next agenda. So they're just like the Borg almost, but not as stupid and on TV and science fiction goofiness. It's more of a reality-based control mechanism. Some people are able to dislodge from it, though. You know, you can dislodge from it, but you know, you gotta know how. And to do that, you actually do have to be a strategist, an engineer, a warlock. Once you learn how to do that, then none of the AI systems are going to work on you, and they're just going to call you mentally ill. So there you go. We have previous attempts at AI systems. Some of us are implanted with those devices, but they're just human devices. And some of them were nanotechnology. And so, look, I knew somebody, his dad turned out to be into nanotechnology, wind dynamics, liquid dynamics, alternative propulsion, and magnetism. So I didn't even know that until 3 years ago. I looked into his dad, found out that before he died, he was a colonel in the Air Force, and that's what he did. Now, that friend of me saw 2 UFOs one night. So there you go. There's your clue as to how close I am to high op, black op fucking shit. Now, that guy died. Probably somebody killed him, but no, he probably died natural. I don't know, you know, but his dad and him disappeared after those 2 UFO sightings. Their whole house was evacuated. I've told the story before. Their whole house was evacuated. I didn't even know that his dad was in the Air Force at that time. They owned a house in Webster Groves, so I don't know where he would report for the Air Force, but if he was a colonel in the Air Force, I don't get it, but supposedly when I went to the neighbor's house after the UFO event, I told him we got threatened. I didn't even tell them we got threatened because I knew I had to keep my mouth shut already. My friend told me not to talk. So I just asked them what happened to David Sims. Nobody's in his house. It looks vacant. And they walked away from me. They walked straight fucking away like, I'm not allowed to say a thing. And they didn't say that, but you could tell that's what's in there. Somebody had came and talked to them and told them, hey, if that motherfucker comes by here asking questions, just walk off. Don't say a goddamn thing. You understand? Okay. Have a nice day. That's exactly what the fuck happened. Oh, glad there's 3 in for quite a while now. It's nice. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friends. I could use about 10 subscribers right now. I'll send a shirt to the first one, sends me 10 subscribers. It has my Road Fugitive thing on it. So if you send me, fucking give me 10 subscribers and just say, I got you the 10 subscribers. I don't care if it was 8 or 5. As long as it looks like it's 10, I'll fucking send the shirt to you, okay? That's simple. It doesn't have to be just from you, but if I end up with 10 more subscribers, dude, I'll send you the shirt, whoever you are, in chat or in the live stream. And it just says, No Pause Clark, Road Fugitive. That's my new name. Underneath it, what else? High on Concrete. It has about 4 different things it says. It's a longboarding shirt. You know, what can I say? Now, I'm not like the professional longboarders. They blow my mind. I just subbed to a new channel, and they're speaking Spanish, but they're really cool. They play cool music too, and they got good video quality. And they're all good skateboarders. Oh my God. But it's just like, man, every time I find a new longboarding, I haven't been skateboarding in a while, but I'll be honest with you. I like downhill skateboarding for one reason, because the faster you go, the better of a day you have. And every time I go faster, I feel like, oh yeah, that felt good. I think I managed 50 miles an hour on that for a split second, but it was good enough. I mean, it's like, I don't want to push my luck, but I enjoy it. It almost feels like I'm getting energy as a warlock going downhill, because for some reason, gravity almost has a magical power. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone. But when I'm going downhill, the gravity is what's pulling me. It's not my skateboard, because my skateboard has just got wheels and trucks. So when I'm going downhill, it feels like there's some kind of energy going into me, and it's a different format that I'm used to. And it feels almost like it may be as enjoyable as smoking a little pot or something. It just almost feels like there's something going through you. Now, the faster you go, I'm sure that may, who knows, maybe that'll even you'll feel more powerful the faster you go. So I ain't lying, man. It has something to do with gravity. Gravity is unexplained in many different aspects. So if you're going downhill using just gravity, you got to remember, it's pushing you along. It's actually making contact and pushing you along with gravity. So I think there's some secret energy in gravity that people don't know about. And it's the secret energy also may be able to be manifested in different ways. For instance, lifting giant heavy things. I don't know, but anyway, so like if you're let's say if you were to just like in a wingsuit go down, just the sheer fact that you're controlling the wingsuit using whatever abilities you have, it empowers you, and that may be the reason why when you're going, gravity is controlling you. That may be a reason why you feel the energy is because you're absorbing some of the winds, and you know exactly what you're going to need to do while you're moving, and maybe it plays a part in your mechanical movements as well, how you're holding your arms, how you twist, how you do. So, and that's kind of part of what a warlock does. So that's why I like it. Now, will I ever do a video again where I show myself longboarding faster and faster? Yes. But I'm going to let that sit and stew for a while, because I did a couple videos that were unprofessional, but at least people saw I can skateboard downhill. So they were unprofessional, but at least I showed people I can go downhill fast, relatively fast, probably a lot faster, probably twice as fast. I could probably go 60. I'm pretty sure, as long as I get some Ronin trucks and just get used to having a good hardware at all times, I could manage just like any of those guys. Now, it doesn't mean I'm as quick as those guys, like to push into a slide, no, not necessarily. I'm more of interested in the feeling of just going fast and swerving side to side to feel so I can feel my English a little more when I initiate. I don't like to just jack into something, but I can do that too. When I say jack into meaning a slide, like I jack into slides now, but they're short and stiff, and I can do that. It almost looks like braking when I do it. I'm not the kind of guy who just likes a full out slide where if somebody pulls out of the driveway while I'm doing this sliding sideways, you're just going to hit the car. I mean, what else are you going to do? How are you going to pull away from the car when you're sliding that way? Now, sure, somebody's going to say, I just turned my board a little, and I like you would when you were slaloming, I would just turn my board a little and then I'd come out of the slide. They'd probably say that. They'd probably say, and it wouldn't be an issue like you think it is. So they may be right. I'll just have to remember to consider everybody's tactics, how they go about it. And not a lot of them talk. They don't want you to know their secrets. So a lot of these longboarders that go downhill that are really good, they don't want you to know their secrets. They don't even want you to be near as good as them, especially if you're old. If you're old and somehow or another you do a run faster than the last young guy that did it, they're just going to probably shit bricks and go, God, how did he even do that? How old is he? 56. How long has he been longboarding? A year and 2 months. and to be honest, I really didn't get good at longboarding until 8 months later. And then I got, I could handle high speed now and all kinds of. Now, I'm not going to do tricks. I'm just going to be boring that way. If I do learn them, I learn them. But in the meantime, I'm just not the big slider kind of guy. I like to jack with sticky tires. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but when you jack with sticky tires, you feel like you could topside, but you also feel like, because I'm 200 pounds, you just feel like a lot of security with big sticky tires. They do slide, but they just don't slide long. They do break you, but they don't break very long. I mean, you just have to push into them for a split second, and you'll slide like maybe 3 inches, but it'll slow you down incredibly. And people will be like, yeah, but that's not entertainment. It's like, yes, it will be for me, because then how many people actually ride their skateboard like that and barely slide. So it would be one of a kind. I don't know any riders that do longboard downhill like that. So anyway, I appreciate everybody that came in. There's 4 in right now. It's awesome. I feel like nice. That feels good. If you want to give me a like, that'd be appreciated. And I always respect people that are talented. I go to those longboarders channels, downhill longboarders channels. And matter of fact, I got one I'd like to check out right now. But and I always compliment their talent because it is like seeing somebody who's a professional banjo player or something. It's just phenomenal. It's just, but it's way more, it's dangerous though. So you got to look at it like this. These guys are going about as fast as a guy in a wingsuit. Only differences are on concrete and they're close to the concrete. So, I mean, you can't lose. I'm going a little hoarse. I apologize. You can't lose trying to have fun on something that much adrenaline is just because you got to look at it like this. The only good thing about longboarding is at least your legs are touching the skateboard. The skateboard is touching the ground. That's good, but you have to maintain that shit. And if you look at these downhill longboarders and how they move and shit, you can tell in some cases, you can tell they clipped the scene because he had an accident, but they didn't show it. They just clipped the scene because you could see a speed wobble starting to erupt. And even the professionals fall from those goddamn things once in a while, even with the best hardware. If it's a pothole that's not really a pothole, but kind of like rounded, the wheels will sink and cause a massive speed wobble right away. Those are the hardest kind to come out of because the wheels just went like that to go in it. It's not really a pothole, but it's just kind of a dip in the road. Those kind will cause speed wobbles really bad. It'll offset your front truck so quick. So whenever I see a skateboarder hopping things, that's probably something I need to learn how to do, but I can't bend down that good because my back is injured. 5 are in now. I appreciate it. If you want to say something, much love. You want to give me a like, I appreciate it. But when you're going downhill and you're on concrete, it's like you're wingsuiting, but without a wingsuit on and close to right up against the concrete. The only difference is you got wheels instead of anything else, keeping you from scraping there. And when you fall off, if you're going that fast, as most of these guys don't wear pads, your career is going to be shortened because eventually you're not going to just do road rash, but you're going to damage your elbows and your knees. So I'm not a fan of seeing people going super fast downhill with no pads because I want to see them keep longboarding downhill. I don't want to see them say one day, oh, well, I can't longboard anymore because I fucked my knee up. Or I can't longboard anymore because my fucking elbows are fucked up from hitting it too many times, trying to show off and do hot dog tricks for this one fucking or 2 runs I did in my career. No, I don't have to see somebody doing wrong with no pads. I want to see pads on them. That way, if they do wreck, they're probably not going to be embarrassed to show it, number one, because they got their pads. And also you get to see a little, different kind of English when somebody falls, yet not necessarily get hurt, which is awesome because I don't like to see people get hurt. So when I see people going downhill on longboards, I look at it like they could be money managers probably because they're trying to manage not falling on the ground with every split second that goes by. That would, even a professional's balance can sometimes get slightly offset a little bit, depending on what the skateboard decides to do. If he's coming out of a slide or whatnot, it may not fucking come back as quick as he wants, and that could cause problems. So, there's just so many variables, man. I appreciate everybody coming in, though. I'm going to go get some coffee. Jeez. Nice to do a stream and get some people eventually. And, if it turns dark, I got this. Yeah, man, this coffee cup took a fall a while back. And look at that. That's down there. That's a fall. I mean, actually, it's not a fall. For me, I could jump that. My old school days, I could jump down there. Anyone else would say you're insane. But I'm like on a 3-story height up here. Even though it's 2-storied, it might as well be 3-story because I'm on a hill like that. And that's why I started longboarding, because I'm like, shit, I live in the mountains. I'm gonna take that one guy's advice. And even though I got just a little bit of skateboarding experience as a slalom boarder back in the day, those boards couldn't handle shit in the 70s. So I'm gonna get a longboarder like that one guy had in Thousand Oaks 5 years ago, and I'm gonna make it work. And it took me forever to get good. Like 5 months later, I'm finally going down big hills and shit. It actually 8 months. Maybe 5 months. No, it was 8 months. It took fucking 8 months. I could barely ride the goddamn board 20 fucking feet. I ain't lying, man. It was feeble. You guys would have laughed so hard to see me when I first started on a longboard. That's because first of all, I had the best bearings. I had quality, bearings, and no, not necessarily quality skateboard. So it was a little bit risky. It was a cruiser, and I was trying to figure out how to use it. And I was so out of, from being young when I used to do that shit, maybe a year and a half tops or 2 years experience when I was a kid, and that was it. And now those skateboards couldn't go fast. Okay. They could only, you had to slow them down doing a slalom or fucking say, fuck it, never do it. And most people wouldn't even do that. So back then, because those skateboard hardware sucks dick so much, the core, the centimeter, everything was weak in those skateboard trucks, and they would bend in no time. It was, yeah, I'm sure you could have got some good hardware. At one time, there was a guy named Jimmy's. I don't know how he spelled it, but he used to sell a lot of skateboards back in the 80s, and his shit had a wheel in the middle. I don't know whatever happened to him, but I thought that was going to really make a lot of skateboards and change them. But I don't know if it was, I don't know what happened to that design, that prototype, or well, it was a finished product, but I used to sell skateboards had a metal wheel in the axle. It was smaller, but like if it scraped, it wouldn't have never scraped the axle because of that. So I don't know whatever happened to Jimmy's, but yeah, he actually it seemed like he had some pretty good hardware. I don't know. I doubt any of it was double forged or anything, but maybe. Because shit was cheaper back then. It would have been easier to double forge back then. So it was cheaper, but you go any further than 84 and the shit hardware sucked. Even the urethane stayed bad for years until they started making improvements on the urethane in those tires. This guy, man, he needs to learn how to do a wheelie. He had a really good piece of ass on his fucking bike the other day, but I don't know what her face looked like, but the piece of ass was nice. And I don't know why you got to wonder, why is that chick with him? But anyway, you know how it is. That sounds like Jeremy Green. You know how it is. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Jericho Green, not Jeremy Green, Jericho Green. That guy's a riot, man. He's a riot in a good way, though. He's like he's got dynamics down pat as far as social groups, and like if I was to vote between Alex Jones and Jericho Green, it would be Jericho Green, hands down. I would much rather listen to Jericho Green, although Alex Jones provides some, even though he exaggerates quite often. Some of these people that are famous, they think it's their birthright to exaggerate some of the shit they talk about, but 60% of it's pretty damn valid, and the rest of it's just kind of like contouring audiences by saying shitloads of stuff. You know. Yeah, man. I can't pronounce this guy's name. Hold on. We gotta see something. So for it, man. Cheers. Cheers, man. Like, I'm not going to cry for somebody to come into chat, but it would be nice. Yeah, so I was playing this song earlier. I don't know. You guys, any of you listen to any of my music? I mean, there's 4 people in. Anybody listen to my music? I mean, I fucking make up some abstract shit, but when I do it kind of, like when you make cotton candy, it's easy, and sometimes my music isn't going to be great, but other times it is a lot better. So it's all from a music app, so it's not a big deal. You can check it out if you want to, and use a good sound system. Your stereo would be preferable. Wi-Fi, if you got stereo Wi-Fi, use it. But yeah, here's the song I made up earlier today. Oh, what happened? Oh, I know what happened. My thing quit working. I don't have it plugged in, so that's okay though. You don't have to listen to my music. I just wanted to let everyone know and refresh their memory that I indeed do make music. So it's that simple. I fucking make music. I'm not just doing live streams or video. I make music. And if you want me to do a hike, let me know. Yeah, I got a lot of territory out here. I could bring my dog. My dog pulls me on my skateboard if I want to, but I don't do that. He's really good at it though. He pulls me straight up fucking mountains on my skateboard. Pretty cool. He's like a work dog, so he can do that. He can handle a lot of that shit, but I don't try to with him because I ain't trying to make my dog's joints fucking hurt or get all sore. It's not a fucking Alaska Husky, so Siberian Husky or any of that shit. So, but it is a fucking strong ass dog. It can handle that shit. Oh man, what happened? Okay. Yeah, man, I was just letting people know. It's great if you like Elton John, but I'm a polar opposite. I fucking make up crazy ass fucking licks. I'm an MC. I'm a digital fucking artist. I make music. I make fucking videos with effects. Now I can be better at my effects. It depends on where I want to go with it. But it's not like a big deal. It's not like you guys need to tune into me. But if you want to come back, I will get better at shit. Like I could make a music studio in here. I can actually play a keyboard. I can fucking play drums. I can fucking play bass. I can do all that shit. I can make way better music. I can actually play instead of make loops. I can play the shit that I want to make sound good. So I don't have to actually worry about fucking loops if I have the quality equipment. So I was thinking about getting, synthesizers, but I want to get a brain and just a motherboard and then maybe a synth or two added to it, put them all on stands Then I want to get, I want to set up all my, if you will, DJ kind of equipment. Maybe even do live shows because I'm really good with handling that shit. I'm really good with handling my musical instruments, whether I'm playing live without loops at all, or I'm just playing drums, bass, or on the keyboard even. I can do all that on a keyboard even, as well as handle all my DJ equipment intertwined with the synths and the brains. I'm going to have a few brains too. When the old days, I got a Roland U220, and it was just a brain synth, and I used to fuck with that with my Core Disc G1, and I used to get all kinds of shit going down because it was a synthesizer, but it was just going through into that board. So it was like awesome, it was like I was able to blend sounds from that Core Disc G1 and with sampled sounds or whatnot, or whatever sounds were on that fucking U220 that I had, Roland. And I wasn't even a big Roland fan. But what ended up happening was, even though I got that shit, I ended up selling it for way cheaper than I paid for it all. And I ended up making fucking 8 times the amount of money from the profits when I went and gambled. So there you go on that one. I think I bought it for almost $2,000, the whole setup, but I fucking only sold it for $1,100 to the music store. And the music store, I couldn't believe they bought it for $1,100. I was happy about that. So I went into the casino and fucking no time at all, I had fucking like $8,000 just because I felt like gambling. It was one of those times where I need to go gamble again. And that's how a professional works. You don't always go out and gamble because sometimes you go out and you get the vibe that this is going to be an unpleasant professional environment for you and you're not going to be able to win comfortably. So managing money is the same as going downhill on a longboard. It's similar. It's like you got to manage your safety. And when you're making money in gambling, you got to manage your money, which is a form of safety. So, there's two different, but they're the same. In a lot of ways, they're the same. The only difference is when I was gambling, I didn't get power from, let's say, gravity. I got power from the intuition grew, and it kind of like intertwined with the psychic development of the individual, which was me. And of course, I had dealers going, what kind of style do you use? Because they're hoping I'd say something like, oh, I count cards, or some stupid ass shit would come out of my mouth so they could get me out of there. And I would never do that. I would just say, no, I just play by my intuition, my gut, that's it. And keep it real simple. Whenever they ask questions in a casino, just say, yeah, I just use my gut, man. It's just, look, this is a 6-deck shoe. How the fuck would anyone be able to count these cards? No, I use my gut, so that's how you talk to a casino. If you say anything about, oh, yeah, I just use, I'm a numerologist, you get kicked out just for saying that. Fucking, you can't say any of that shit when you're in a casino. However, if they want, they can get rid of you. No time at all. They just walk up and say, let's see, you stood behind that table for 10 minutes, you're loitering. When really you're just waiting for somebody to leave the fucking table so you can sit down or go do another one if you don't like that table. So they don't like it when you market for tables like you're in a supermarket. Those look like good apples. They don't like that because they know right away you're probably a fucking intelligent motherfucker who's going to win money. But sometimes people will wait for a table and they can tell, oh, this guy's a fuddy-duddy. We've had him in several times. I already know the backdrop of that guy. Me, whenever I came to a casino, they knew right away. I knew what the fuck I was doing. Right the fuck away. I never gave an inch either. I would always act dumb and laugh it off. And at some point, some of the casinos actually let me win money just because I was very cavalier about how I handled talking to the pit boss and or other people in the casino. I had a few casinos that seemed to ingratiate me coming in to gamble because they knew, I can attract other gamblers to sit down and play blackjack. So I used to, there was a few casinos that, they were always super nice. They would always say, hey, man, why don't you get a player's card so I can give you free buffets and stuff and whatever rooms if you need it. And so I would always turn it down and go, but thank you very much, man. That's very pleasant of you to say that, or for asking me to become, eligible for that. But if I did stuff like that, my mind wouldn't always be on the gambling part, and I'd walk away, and they kind of snicker at that because they know exactly what I mean. Professionals don't want to fucking just be, eating a lot and fucking doing stupid. No, you actually have to be hungry when you're in a fucking gambling. You actually want no food in your stomach. You don't want to be hungry while you're gambling, and you definitely don't want to be tired. Now, when I used to gamble, they used to put Visine drops in the fucking drinks, and you would start to feel tired, and you knew right away, Visine. So on one occasion, they poisoned me with Visine at Hilton, and I knew right away that wasn't me just being tired, even though I was here a long time. That's from the drink. So I had to go home without falling over, luckily, and go to sleep, and I slept for about a day, or maybe it was only about 3 or 4 hours to let the Visine wear off. I woke back up, I went right back there, and this time I didn't drink. So they were trying to get my attention other ways, like the pit boss would walk up and ask me stupid questions and shit. Yeah, that's how they do it. In certain casinos, when they know that you're just going to continue to win, they fucking do that. And I don't gamble anymore. People think I'm insane. They're like, well, then you'll run out of money. It's like, no, I don't gamble anymore for other reasons, because they use their own super high-tech shit in those places. And, kind of like you have to have knowledge of what's going on. Sometimes they could be pointing something microwave at your fucking head. And the next thing you know, you forgot what the fuck you're doing at the table. And how are you going to gamble that way? So I don't trust any fucking casino, period, anymore. Even the online ones are supposed to be rigged for certain people to win more or some shit. So I don't even trust that. So, and I have friends, they say, well, you should play online poker. It's not rigged. And, it's like, dude, come on, man. It's like football. How many times have you seen somebody accidentally, purposely fucking not catch the ball just so the other team could win? Many fucking times. It's all bullshit. It's all fucking set up. So people that are betting, that own those franchises and shit, undercover, can make all kinds of extra money knowing full well the fucking team that's going to win. So I don't really, that's why I think everybody is hoodwinked all the time. Why, people say, oh, you're paranoid. No, everyone has already been hoodwinked so that other people can take advantage of them that are maybe not in their area. They may not even be close to you, but they know how to fuck you over anyway. So, that's why I don't believe a lot of shit I hear on the pyramids and Giza. I have a distinct feeling that the wool has been pulled over our eyes, because if you look at the pyramid, it's too big. It's too big, technically speaking, to move rocks like that. I don't think it was a technology, nor do I think aliens used rocks to build their shit. What I think happened was there was a place there, maybe even a quarry that existed to some degree, that existed there, or they made it, so that when we finally came through, we'd say, oh yeah, the Egyptians built it, there's their fucking quarry. But in my opinion, it's just to offset our natural instincts of intellectual logic, and that is to say that the Giza pyramids, not any others, just the Giza pyramids, were actually structures at one time, and then they were kind of like filled in with sand and gutted and filled in with sand, turned into rock, but segmented, so that anyone that comes around would just, for the first thing would come to their mind is, oh, somebody built this with these giant rocks. That's what's up. They fucking left it there as a memento, but they had to turn it into rock, make it segmented, and that's why the rocks are so level on each other. It's not because the motherfuckers that cut the rock are that good. It's because the motherfuckers that made the segments used technology to do it. That was perfection type technology. So it just goes to show you. And if you look at a smaller pyramid other than the Giza pyramids, all those other pyramids don't even compare in the slightest in building techniques and or the fucking flatness of the rocks. Matter of fact, and it's on such a small scale. And in some cases, I think, just like Wise Up on YouTube says, the smaller pyramids outside of Giza were actually not even pyramids. They were just made to look like somebody was trying to make pyramids, but they were actually buildings that fell down in their own footprint over time. And, they were first turned to rock. And similarly, this is just a speculation on my part, but they fell down. And of course, when they fall down, they make a conical shape. So all anyone would have to do was just go over there and fucking, start making probably decide hey, we could fucking make something out of this. Let's build a, pyramid right where all these cool rocks are. We don't have to move them or anything. They're right here. So I wouldn't doubt it a fucking bit, that they were possibly buildings like Wise Up says. And they were only made, and some of the rocks set around them have been said to have been placed by the first archaeologists to come to the site officially. They put all this flat stuff down to make it look like there was Egyptian shit on super smaller pyramids, but really it was just put there so it would look like a courtyard or something around that shit, when it was not. It was the archaeologists that set that shit so they could walk around in the goddamn sand, man. Yeah. So they could fucking walk around without fucking all over the sand. They put those things there for a reason so they can walk. But people these days go over there and say, oh my God, what are these? What's this? Oh, this is the first pyramids they started to build? Yeah, duh. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, duh. Those are the first ones. No, they were probably, fucking buildings at one time. So anyway, that's my belief. And if you look at it like this, any major civilization that's going to have anything going on over there in that area, it kind of lends credence to the fact that there's reason for desertification in that area. It may even have to do with the fact that there was a prior civilization there. And there is evidence of nuclear bombs and glass and everything like that. The glass is not from a meteorites. It's obviously of a nuclear format. It has dirt in it, but not as much as volcanic and or meteorite dirt. So it's considered fucking nuclear glass, and it's over there in that fucking area. So now we kind of know maybe that's how a lot of these deserts get started. But it still takes a lot of years for the desert to get so big. So, but at one time there was a civilization, I believe, over there in Africa. So even though, and there's white tribes over in Africa they don't want you to know about. So there you go. I mean, it doesn't mean that we're the only ones that had all that shit. I'm just saying there's been white tribes that have been found in Africa, and giants apparently were there at one time too, according to some of the Africans. Engravings and information has been found. They said at one time the Africans took custody of the giants that were there and basically tortured and killed them all. And that's actually factually based. I forget what tribe that was, but I don't pay attention to every fucking tribe name. But yeah, they were supposed to be like fucking 13, 14 feet tall, like I guess red-haired giants. So, and then, people, oh, no, well, this, that, and the other. No, we all are from fucking Africa. We're all black. No, it's a dumping area. This whole planet is a dumping area for fucking third and fourth class genetics because they otherwise wouldn't risk it because of the solar particles that do get in and the meteorites. So there's still a risk factor of farming here. They do as much as they can to protect us, and that's where it ends. We're more like a landscaping feature to them when they're coming and going. They do mess with us all the time, but it's only because of the amount that clips off towards us that have those interests, and they're huge. It's a huge amount that clips off towards us, but it's not anything compared to the main groups of extraterrestrials. So it's like it's phenomenally small amount of them come here, but it's so massive for us. It's massive for us, the amount that come here. So that's how I look at it. And it's interesting how I got 5 in, not one fucking person commenting. God, I mean, whatever his fucking name is, GDAGKJA, DF. I don't know what it says. I can't even pronounce his name. It's not. There's no way that guy's Russian. That's just a fucking fictitious ass stupid fucking name. Change your name, dude, so I can call you something. Okay? Come on, man. You sounded like you're reasonable when you're talking to me, but you didn't explain much. You know, I mean, you sound reasonable, but then you didn't. You just cut off the talking part. All right, but. So anyway, this is what I fuck with InShot. I fuck with InShot. InShot is a video editor. Now I used to use Video Guru, but Video Guru was so good they decided to charge for it now, or some stupid shit. So, but yeah, I use InShot. InShot, it's a good video editor for a phone. I go to my videos. Come on, right? And I even have my ID down there. If you can zoom in, you can get my ID. But all these need to get trashed because they're taking up a lot of room. Most of them didn't get published or anything. I was just trying to get it right. And sometimes you fail when you're doing shit. But yeah, InShot, the thing is about InShot is what I'll do is I'll use other video editors and then they'll transfer to InShot, or you have to export it to InShot or share it with InShot rather. And then when you share it with InShot, it's only occasionally the video editor asks to do that. Other than that, and most of the time, a video editor, the right kind, will go automatically to your Video Guru. When you go to Video Guru, you'll see anything you made from another video editor should be in your Video Guru. So like if I did a bunch of effects on one that was called something different than Video or InShot, sorry, I meant to say InShot. If I was doing a video on something different than InShot, and then I decided to meld it into the effects available on just a regular InShot, which isn't a lot, but I can still do some cool things, then you know, you can modify your effects and stuff like that. So, and then you can also do that multiple times with different video effects. But you know, the one thing you don't want to do is do a video. Get used to making videos with effects already in them, because then you're gonna, especially you know, just I don't know. It just seems like I don't know. I guess I've done that before. I don't know. I'm guilty of it all. Whatever. All right. So 5 came in, but that's good. I like that. 5 are in. Yeah, I like I said, I can fucking talk until the fucking sun burns out and they put a new artificial sun here. I also have a speculation that the sun itself is an artificial sun. It was actually by design and not exactly a normal sun here. And they did that so it would trick us into thinking it's been here billions and billions of years, when in reality, it's a artificial terraforming sun. It was actually ignited, kind of like you would a campfire. And these extraterrestrials can do that shit. You know, they probably had a gas giant they towed over here. And then they lit it. But it also might be fully artificial, like you know, yeah. Yeah, see, I'm a believer in terraforming. Even though there's video games on it and there's science fiction on it, I already believe that's the case. It's not because of science fiction. I already believe that, you know, to be formed, you have to be processed so that you're not going to be too out of hand. And whenever we do things that's too out of hand, we get more attention by them, like nukes and whatnot. So it's obvious we're being farmed. They're just trying to keep it on the lowdown. When we start getting too high tech, they probably won't allow us to the moon, because that is a installation. But they did allow us there initially because they wanted to make people kind of, you know, used to the fact we've already been there. Then when we do feel like we need to hit a surface, like in the solar system, they'll be like, okay, now it's Mars. You go to Mars this fucking time. And this time you don't get any of our help to get to the moon, like we did when we helped you get to the moon through the radioactive Van Allen belts, 3 of them. Okay, so I think what happened was the extraterrestrials did that on purpose so that we would at least show up on the moon, whether we got there fictitiously or not. It did the part. We were there, but we, you know, it was kind of handled differently than everyone thinks. And they said, now, when you get the technology to, get past the Van Allen belt, you feel like coming back this way, don't do it. You've been here enough. We helped you. Now go to Mars. So I think they're pretty much saying, if we're going to do anything, it has to be Mars. Can't be the moon. So if you see anything set up to go to the moon, and that's why we haven't been there since, it's because of that. It's actually a rule. We're not allowed there. It's a fucking installation. And under the regolith, that place is an installation, just like fucking out of Star Wars or something, but not really. It's more or less structures in there, but it's full of debris and stuff filled in with debris, so it looks like a planet. So that's why it rings. But the ringing is it not because when we shot something into it, it rang. It rang because it's an installation under there. So they have a subdimensional, what I call, and this is my belief, bumper over all their installations, so that anything from this physics that hits that shit, it's going to get demolished. But it's underneath the regolith, so that if anything does hit the moon, it looks official, like, oh yeah, a meteor hit the moon, look. But really, it has a subdimensional buffer under it, and it cannot be penetrated. So it defies all our physics, so it acts like a giant bumper. Now, it does vibrate when it's hit. That's what I do believe, and it also can put off audio sounds, like a bell. But that's the after effects from the subdimensional bumper when something does hit it. And we have one too here on this planet. We have a subdimensional bumper, and it's only to protect the locations where the installations are of high enough technology where they have absolute protection. And then there's the ones that are kind of like homeless extraterrestrials that live under mesas and shit. They don't have that. They don't have that shit. They have what they have, and it's probably better than it used to be, but that's why some of their vehicles crash. It's because they don't have the same protection. They've been clipped off from the main population. Phil Schneider was absolutely right about that. So when people say Phil Schneider is full of shit, I just don't understand. He's actually fucking right on button. There's a contingent of the extraterrestrials that pretty much if you're another extraterrestrial, oh yeah, those fucking homeless ones. Yeah, they're always wrecking their shit. Let's try to make their shit a little better so they don't wreck as much, because those humans are always snatching that shit up. You know how it is. So I think what happened is they finally got the idea, we better give them some better repair equipment and resource, because they're fucking crashing too much. And we can't have that. So I think eventually the extraterrestrials got the idea, it's probably better that we help them rather than hinder them. But at the same time, don't let them come back to us. So they still keep them separate. But they're not allowed to, they're like prisoners in a way. They're actually like prisoners. They're homeless, but they're like prisoners, because really they're stuck in the solar system. That's what's up with those extraterrestrials. Now, the ones that are higher, they got the subdimensional bumper complex with all the perks and safety. Even if volcanic shit did pop up from the bottom, it would protect them. Okay, but the thing is this: the volcanic shit that's under us is actually also partially synthesized lava. So even though people think it's just geological shit going on down there, it's actually not as thick as they want you to know. And the lava is there's some secrets to it. Okay, it's not like you think. The science they provide you on the middle of the earth is bullshit. Okay, it's bullshit. They make a lot of shit up in academia, and then as long as you buy it hook, line, and sinker, they're happy, and that's it. And if you learned it in a book, that's great, because they don't want you to know what the real truth is. The tectonics that are taking place under us are in complete control. Look at fucking Yellowstone. It's all the way almost to the top. It's right at the bedrock as a huge anvil of lava. Why isn't it coming to the top anywhere, though? Not even seeping out anywhere? only thing seeping out over there at Yellowstone is the fucking hot pools and fucking gas and shit like that, but no lava. And it's right up there against the top. And it's bulging the fucking land up there. So why wouldn't any lava fissures already be happening? It's because somebody's keeping that area as cool as possible because they don't want it to blow right now. So that's what's up. You know, they don't want it to blow. That's why. That's why the only thing you see is some gas and shit and some hot pools. That's it. And some geysers. But they don't want you to know. Why do you think all those geysers are there? That's the cooling mechanism. That is the cooling mechanism. They're using water to keep the lava at bay. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. It's been a 3-hour stream. Thanks a lot. I hope you have a good one. I didn't mean to end the stream this split second, but I've been talking out here too long, and my neighbors need some rest from that. So, peace.